You're listening to the Small and Supercharged podcast with Ria Freeman, episode 130. Welcome to today's Small and Supercharged podcast. It's a solo one, so you've got me. And we're going to talk about running. Don't turn off. Don't turn off. We are going to talk about running, but we're going to talk about the Couch to 5K and actually 5 things I've learned from doing it that apply to business and life as well as just running. And I'm not doing this from a kind of, I'm so brilliant because I did the Couch to 5K. Really not. What I do want to say to you at the start, though, at the top of this episode indeed, is that if you've ever even thought about doing it and didn't think you could, give it a spin. Obviously, if you've got a medical condition that stops you running or it would not be a good idea, then definitely speak to someone who's a doctor. But if you just feel like it's something that you might like to do, but you never thought you could, I was you, and I've done it. I actually tried the Couch to 5K, which is the NHS. This is the free NHS app. So you download it. I think it's just called Couch to 5K. And basically what it is it is a 9-week. Yeah, it's just called Couch to 5K. It is a 9-week guided training, essentially, where you run 3 times a week for 9 weeks. You pick your coach. I had Sarah Millican because I thought, why not? But there are other coaches as well. And it takes you from quite literally the couch. I mean, I'm just going to have a quick look now. The first run was 5-minute walk to warm up, 60 seconds running, 90 seconds walk, and that was repeated 7 times until a 5-minute cool down. So that was week 1, run 1, all the way to week 9, where you do 30 minutes running without any breaks. So it does take you from nothing. And to be honest, when I first started week 1, I found that 90-second run exhausting and everything else. And I remember thinking on week 1, how on earth am I going to go from struggling to run for 1 minute to running for 30 minutes? And I will obviously talk about that as we go through. But I just want to say to you, honestly, if I can do it, anyone can. I'm not a gifted runner. I tried it once before and I can't even remember how many parts of my anatomy I damaged. I think I definitely hurt my back. I hurt a few different things. I just stopped. I got injured and I just gave up. But this time I didn't. And actually, I think one of the big points here is that was because I was actually egged on by someone slightly. So they said that they were going to do the Couch to 5K, and this is Ruth Chappell from Dressage Anywhere, and I will talk about her a bit towards the end as well. And I thought, that's a really cool idea. I think, at the moment, with coronavirus, I know I just feel like I have to mention that, it can feel quite hard to get motivated. It can feel like everything's out of our control. And I just looked at what she was doing. I thought, that's a really cool thing to do. You can't go to gyms, you can't do so much, but you can still put on your shoes and go out for a run and get out in the fresh air, get all the happy chemicals going, and do something positive for yourself. And I thought, that's a really cool idea. So I downloaded the app, put on my trainers, and off I went. And then after week 1, I thought, after run 1, I thought, what have I done? But I'm going to talk about that a bit more. But as I said, it's a free app. The whole thing's free. And if you want to get a bit fitter, if you want to, I think running and exercise do so many things for our health, but also for our well-being and for our kind of mental health as well. And I always take the dog with me. So I walk the dog, which makes me feel highly efficient. And I do like to be productive. So have a look at it if you are even vaguely interested. I'd say you can DM me about it, which you are very welcome to, but I am not an expert on this, but I have done it, if that is of use. But anyway, I have come up with 5 things I've learnt from doing the Couch to 5K, which are good for, I genuinely think, everything. I think they're really, really good when it comes to small business too. I think we can kind of find the lessons in so much when we look for it, but also the lessons that I've learnt through that can be applied to anything, and it has definitely shifted the way I view challenges, I guess. And I was always pretty good on that. Just sounds so arrogant, but I was always of the kind of, I'd see the challenge and go, yeah, I reckon I can do that. Whereas now I know I can. And I'll tell you why as well. So the first thing is definitely with Couch to 5K, and I think as well with your business sometimes, is that mind over matter is so important. If you can talk yourself into it being a good idea and you tell yourself that you can do it, the chances of you doing it are hugely increased. So a little while ago, I went out for a run. I think it's about week 7, which I found really hard. And I went out in the completely wrong frame of mind. And I was cold, I was pretty grumpy, and I went out that I was going to find it hard. And I found it really hard, to the point I actually quit halfway through a run, which I've only done once, and that was the only time I did it. But when I went out, even if I was feeling a bit cold, if I sort of talked to myself in my head and was like, you can absolutely do this, you can do this, you've got this, it's already done, you just need to do it, I would do it, even though it was hard and it was tiring. So you using the power of your mind is just incredible. And I know one of the things when you do your runs each time, Couch to 5K asks you how you're feeling, and they've got a series of 5 different facial expressions. And I just thought what a weird thing that was to do. But actually, the more I've done it, the more I realise that if you start off with a smiley or a very, very smiley face, or even just a straight line face on the thing, you'll be fine. The one time I tapped the grumpy face, I didn't complete the run. And even if you feel like the grumpy face, do some work thinking about how you're going to complete the run, how good you're going to feel after completing the run, that you're going to do the run. Don't, when I go out, if I tell myself that it's already a done deal, I'm just going through the process because it's already done, I'll do it. If I start doubting myself and going, I don't like doing this, this is hard, I don't want to do this, why am I doing this? The chances of me not doing it are greatly increased. And actually, I'll have a rubbish time as well. So, mind over matter. The mind is incredible. I'm actually doing quite a lot of work on something that I will reveal at a later date, connected to mind and mindset. But it is an incredible piece of kit. And when you harness it properly, it will drive you to do things that you didn't think possible. And the same with your business. When we start a business, we have big dreams and we have goals. And there are various different things that feed into our minds and the way that we behave that make us think that we can't do things. And this might be things that you see, or outside influences that persuade you that actually maybe you can't do the things you want to do. And that's fine. They can say what they like. But when you let that into your mind, it's not good. And it just changes the way you view it. If you view whatever you're trying to achieve as a done deal, it's just a case of getting there, you don't see the obstacles in the same way. You don't see, going back to running, you don't see the fact that you're tired as a signal that you should stop. It perhaps means you should slow up, but you certainly shouldn't stop, because you know you can do it. You know you've actually completed it. You just need to go through the process. So with your business or with your social media, whatever you're doing, if you know you're going to get to X number of thousands of followers, or if you know you're going to achieve Y, and you genuinely believe that, it's just a case of you getting there. The doubt doesn't enter your mind, and that is a massive, massive plus moving through anything, really. If you know it's a done deal. For me, knowing that I was going to get to the end of it was when I was like, yeah, I can definitely do this. I'm going to do it. It's done. It absolutely changed the game, because I just felt I was moving forward and ticking it down as well. So the next thing is one step at a time. And I think this is also connected to goal setting. So again, thinking about the Couch to 5K, the goal is to run for 30 minutes solidly, or 5K, whichever one. I do the 30 minutes solidly because I'm not quite at 5K yet, but I can run for 30 minutes solidly without a break. I have a very hilly route on the way back, so it does absolutely drain my time. But one step at a time. So as I said, again, Catch to 5K, you've got the big goal of the 30 minutes and you start off running for just 60 seconds. And when you think, how are you going to go from 60 seconds to 30 minutes? That feels massive, because it is massive. It's a big old jump. If you think about starting your business and wanting to have a turnover of whatever you want your turnover to be, or if you think of starting an Instagram account with 0 and wanting to have 10,000 followers, that feels like a big jump. And it is in one go. But the point is, you're not doing it in one go. You're doing it in a sequence of small steps to get you to your goal. So with the running, it was a 9-week program, 3 runs a week. So that is 27 runs at least that get you to your goal. So essentially there's 27 steps that take you from 60 seconds to 30 minutes. And then you think, actually, that's quite doable. And with your business, you won't go from 0 to 10,000. You'll go from 0 to 100. You'll go to 1,000. You'll go to 2,000, or whatever intervals you are aiming at. So whilst you do have your big overall goal, it's good to break that goal down into achievable, smaller steps that you can set that time limit on. You can come up with ideas specifically for that, because going from 0 to, when you think about social media, 0 to 10,000, that feels big. That feels like a big old jump. But actually, if you think, okay, well, how am I going to get to 100 with a new account? What am I going to do to get to 100? Great, okay. How am I now going to get to 1,000? What things can I do to help elevate me to 1,000? Great, I'm there. How am I going to get to 2,000? You will still achieve your long-term goal, but it is just in those small steps. With your business, if you want your turnover to be, well, whatever you want your turnover to be, and you're starting off with 0, look at your first objective. Okay, that's the big goal, but you want to do what first? Sell a product? Great, do that. Now you want to sell 10? Do that. Now you want to sell 100 in a week? Do that. And think about how you're going to achieve each step of the goal. So the big goal is great to have in mind, as Gary Vee would say, your North Star. But look at the steps you're going to take to get there. Break it right on down and do it. When we look at the big thing at the end, it can feel incredibly overwhelming. But you're not meant to go from nothing to the big goal. You're meant to do the steps, because also through doing the steps, you learn so much, which is going to help you achieve your goal and also inform you moving forward. That was point 2. Point 3 is that you can achieve so much when you put your mind to it. And your body to it, but when you put your mind to it. It's incredible what we can achieve when we focus in on that goal, when we break down that goal, and when we really push for it. Again, it's so easy to be derailed by things, derailed by life, by being busy, by not having the time, by looking at what other people are doing, by not feeling good enough. There's so much that can absolutely derail us. And I'm not saying that if you're having a tricky time at the moment, just to crack on, because that is the least helpful thing that's ever been said to anybody who's having a tricky time. But just knowing that you can achieve so much when you decide to, and that might mean you need some help to get there, is a really great thought, actually. It's really empowering to think that you have that power within you. You can absolutely do it. And what you can achieve when you really focus in on it, you put the time into it, you study it, you follow a system, the system will work. It's really, really, it's really good. It's really empowering. So yes, you can achieve so much when you put your mind to it. Now, the next thing is, actually, it's a 2-parter. This would be 4.A, which is you can have a meltdown, but you get back up again and you go again. And I will also cover the B point, but I'll tell you what happened when I was running, actually. So I went off on it was a Friday? Was it a Monday? Pretty sure it was a Friday. And it was the day I was cold. It was the day that I put in the grumpy face into the app. It was cold. I had a lot to do that day, so my mind was on other things. I changed my running route, which was a disaster, and I set off and it was not going well. The first 15 minutes were fine, but the next 5 were just shades of awful, and my route took me around the edge of a ploughed field, basically. And it was just really hard. And I don't give up. Like, one of my things is I don't give up. And I gave up that day, which I'm very ashamed to say. But the more I ran, the angrier I was getting. And I was just feeling absolutely rubbish for doing it. And I walked home and I was just in a foul mood all day because I'd given up. And I was really cross about it all. So firstly, I was cross myself. But, and I'm not good with that. I'm not proud of that at all. And I mean, I did have, almost like a stamping foot tantrum in the middle of a field. It was quite a moment. I was just disappointed because I'd gone like 7-8 weeks and done every single thing I set out to do, and just it wasn't working for me. So, but the thing is, you can have meltdowns. You're allowed to be cross about a situation. You're allowed to feel disappointed in your performance or the performance of what you're trying to achieve. You are absolutely allowed to feel all of these things and more. But the thing that sets people apart is what they do next. Do they go, well, actually, this isn't working for me, and I don't want to do it. That was hard. That was tough. I'm not doing that anymore. We're done. Or do you go all of those things and then go, actually, no, I'm not done. I am not done. I am getting to the end of that, and dust yourself off and you get back on. And this is, I mean, God, that sounds like a horse term, doesn't it? But this is a horse thing. This is a business thing. This is a life thing. This is a social media thing. You will have things that will knock you. They'll knock your confidence. They'll, if you're a product-based business, perhaps you order things and they don't turn up, or you're disappointed with the quality of something, or the print of something, or the packaging of something, or this, that, or the other. You're disappointed in your engagement on social media. You're disappointed in how a piece of content you worked really hard on turned out, or you're collaborating and it's not working well for you. There are so many reasons why we can be disappointed, why we can have those meltdowns, why we can feel like it's not going well, it'll never go well, and the world is against us. But you have to pick yourself back up. Yeah, you have that meltdown, you get it all out. I'm not saying you should just, keep it in, but it's the next bit. And I know that I had a couple of days off running after the meltdown because I was just really cross. But then one morning I woke up and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go for a run today and I'm going to do it. And I did. And I actually think having the meltdown did teach me a huge amount about kind of resilience and my attitude towards it. And also, I think it proved quite a lot of things to I proved quite a lot of things to myself by doing that, by sort of getting up from that fall. And another thing I wanted to add to this as well, which is point B, and again, this applies to running, to social media, to business, to life, is you don't have to enjoy every single step. I don't really enjoy running. I'll level with you. It's not my favourite thing. I don't dislike the first 20 minutes or so, but the second 10 minutes, that is hard at the moment. I find it hard. I don't find it easy. And, you can look at people and see them running along, see them working in their businesses, seeing them on social media, and it looks effortless. From my point of view, when I run, I genuinely sweat like a pig. It is not a pretty look. My hair stands on end usually, the hotter I get. I go as red as a red thing. It is not an attractive picture. And then I've done it now. I've finished my run. I'm doing my cool down walk, and I'll see someone else jogging the other way, and they're just like glowing. They've got a bit of a glow, but they like their hair's just looking beautiful. Some people even wear makeup when they run, and it looks really, really good. And I am genuinely just dragging myself along the road, dripping with sweat. It's a horrific picture from my point of view. You don't have to enjoy it. You don't have to enjoy every single step to enjoy the outcome. There are some bits that are just a pain in the neck that we have to do. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we're doing the wrong thing. It just means at that particular point, that isn't the best point there is. But the bigger goal is worth it. So don't feel like you have to enjoy every single step of the journey. You won't. You just won't. I don't know anyone in their business or in their, with their social media or with their running that every day is full of sunshine and lollipops, because it just isn't. There are times when you just have to knuckle down. Take a deep breath, knuckle down, crack on, and just push on through it, even though it's not your favourite thing. Of course, if you despise it and it's affecting you in a really negative way from a mental health point of view, then obviously that needs further consideration. But what I'm trying to say here is that not everything is sunshine and lollipops at all. I want to add another point. I'm going to add a C into here as well, because I think I've covered it, is that it doesn't always look pretty. When I run, I'm definitely well in that category. And when you work hard, when you when you're growing your social media accounts, when you are working hard, what we see and what people tell us is happening may well be happening, but the chances are most people only show us the highlights. They only show all the positive things. So if your version of what you're doing doesn't look pretty and you think, well, everyone else's is, it doesn't. Theirs doesn't either. It's just what they're showing you. The information that they're showing you looks like it's easier, effortless, prettier than it is. Because there are just sometimes when it's just hard work. And again, I think it's really important to recognise that. Point 5 is buddy. As I mentioned earlier, Ruth from Dressage Anywhere, who I'm really lucky to call a very good friend of mine, and I work closely with Ruth as well with various different things, and she's a blooming diamond. And she has basically been my remote running buddy, and we chat about running on WhatsApp, we compare runs, we send pictures after a run. And actually, side note, the thing I was saying about some people just look really good running, she does. It's annoying. It's really annoying. But yeah, I don't. She does. It's annoying. But that's just life. But having somebody who I could actually share my progress with, and this just doesn't apply to running, but I'm using running as the example here, that you can share when you're having a bad day. When I had the full-on meltdown, that was quite a lot of WhatsApp messages about how angry I was with myself and how angry I was with running and how angry I was with the whole situation. But having someone that you can share that with, who is in the same situation as you are, or who has been in the same situation, because I should also add, Ruth was always a little ahead of me because she just ran more, to be honest. She really crammed in the running, particularly at the beginning of the program, and she did start a bit before I did as well, not much, like a week. So she's always been a bit ahead of me. Having someone who I knew could actually experience, who was experiencing similar to what I was experiencing, the fact she was a bit ahead of me was brilliant, because she could say, oh, actually, when I was having a strop, she go, oh yeah, I found week 7 tough, or whatever. But having a buddy there to keep you accountable is really good. And I know that that's one of the things, again, flipping back to business here, I know in my membership groups, particularly Mastermind actually, basically you've got a community of 80 odd buddies who somebody will be going through the same thing as you will be, or somebody will have gone through the same thing that you have, and be able to go, I've really struggled with this today, and someone goes, yeah, I had that problem, it's really tough, maybe try this to help you get over it. It's so beneficial. So finding yourself a buddy, particularly if you're doing Couch to 5K, but finding that community, finding your tribe is just huge, whatever you're doing. We're not meant to do everything on our own, and having someone that we can share the highs and the lows with to keep us accountable and us to do the same for them is really, really valuable. I'm also going to add in a bonus point, because I wanted to do 5 things I've learned from Couch to 5K, because, I like the repetition in the 5s. But I'm going to have a bonus point, and that's that you can do it your own way too. again, referring to the running analogy, a lot of people like to listen to music when they run. And a lot of people have quite specific tracks they listen to that have got a really strong beat, a really good time, which means that they run along to the beat and that helps to keep them moving forward. I tried that and I didn't dislike it, but I found that for me, I was basically counting how many songs I had to go to what point, and then I wasn't really listening to what was going on, or I wasn't really aware of what was going on, but I was just willing on the end of particular tracks, whereas I think some people almost go a little bit trance-like and they have the beat and they run to the beat and it's really positive for them. Whereas for me, I was struggling a little bit, and I also have a really dodgy taste in music, so I had quite a diverse selection too. So I decided to listen to a podcast. So when I was running, I listened to a podcast, and I actually found the running much easier because although I was running along, I was really intently listening to the podcast as we were going, me and the dog, were running along, and that kind of distracted me. So I got the kilometres, the minutes under my belt without feeling every single one as a big push. But for a lot of people, that wouldn't work. I mean, at work, I tend to work in silence. I occasionally have music on if I'm doing something, like if I'm tidying my desk, I'd put music on because it's just a distraction, or a podcast on. But if I'm writing something, I like it to be quiet because I find it much easier to not make mistakes. I am much more accurate if I work in silence. But it doesn't work. But some people would hate working in silence and always like to have some sound in the background. To me, silence is the dream. I really like it being quiet. I hate things that are too loud. But other people, they love the noise. And I think that's a really good lesson for life, actually. You can get to the same goal and the same objective. You can achieve the same things as other people, but you don't have to go the exact same route that they took. Yes, you can absolutely look at what people do and you can learn from them and draw comparisons. But if their specific method doesn't work for you, you don't have to do it. So another one would be, a lot of people run off-road. I would run on the road, because whilst I think that it's meant to be much better from a concussion point of view on your joints to run off-road, I am really quite worried about twisting my ankle because the ground is so unlevel around here. It's going across fields rather than parks and things. So I don't. But that doesn't mean that we're both not going to achieve the same objective. It just means that we're doing it in a different way. So don't be afraid if your social media isn't following the route of somebody else, because if you're true to your journey, if you're true to what you want to achieve, that's really important. But it doesn't mean that you're not going to achieve your goal, and your goals can be the same, but you can get there in a different way. You can get there in a way that is definitely more on brand for you. So yeah, I hope that has helped you. I was thinking about it actually the other day when I was running actually, and obviously I wasn't that focused on the podcast that day, and I was thinking that although the Catch the 5K has definitely helped my fitness, and that's a real win, and I don't feel half as bad when I eat cake now, it's actually really cemented some things that I knew to be true, but it's kind of given me that additional evidence to back up the things I know to be true. So the thing about, one step at a time, working towards your goals, how much you can achieve. And basically, I genuinely believe people are incredible. They can achieve so much when they do put their minds to it. But actually seeing that in action very recently has been a really, really welcome reminder, especially during the current situation we're all experiencing, of when we feel like, things, you can't plan things because you don't know if they're going to happen, or this, that and the other. It's been a really, really valuable, a series of really valuable lessons. So if you do want to find out more about Catch the 5K, then just go and have a look in your app store, or I think if you just Google Catch the 5K, there's some really good information online. Download the app, pop your earphones in, jobs are good and you're on your way. And if you'd like to know more about any of the groups that I run as well, I know I talked about community and having a buddy being so important, and I particularly mentioned Mastermind. But the information for Mastermind, which is my highest level membership group, is on my website under riafreemanpr.co.uk. It's on the main menu. And I also have an extra group, which is where we really focus on social media and promoting yourself better on a budget. And that is also the most amazing community of lovely, lovely people over there who you get to chat to, network with, and beyond, in addition to receiving the cheat sheets, the lives, and everything else. So thank you so much for listening. I really, really do appreciate it, and we will catch up really, really soon.